Well, this, of course, is the brand new Audi S3. This is the sedan. It comes in a hatchback, and also this year for the first time in the Middle East in a Sportback. Now, it all began back in 1996, and since then the S3 has been an incredibly popular model of the Audi range. Now, this particular one has a 2-liter turbo engine. It produces 290 brake horsepower, a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox that will give you 400 Newton meters of torque, and 0 to 100 kilometers an hour will only take 4.9 seconds. Now, that's pretty quick for such a vehicle, and it is electronically limited to 250 kilometers, as a lot of the Germans like to do it. Now, there are some quite distinct exterior and interior changes in the car, so now let's have a look at the exterior a little bit, shall we? Now, if we were to have a closer look at the front of the car, the large grille that most manufacturers, especially Germans, have gone for is quite blatant and bluntly displayed here. In the Audi, of course, that's not very new, but the newer things that we can look at are these lovely vents on the side, and the whole structure of the car is a little bit more rounded than they used to be, but it is still very aggressive and beautiful with this chrome and the front kind of diffuser. It all looks very aggressive and nice. It has a very sporty feel to it. I personally love it, especially this beautiful color on here. Now, here we are looking at the back of the car, and this is probably one of my favorite bits, the classic quad exhaust. The quad exhaust, I mean, despite the fact that this is a 2-liter, it is 290 brake. I understand it's a great sports car, but that quad exhaust just makes it look so much more butcher and so much more kind of performance oriented. Then, well, the back of the car is probably, for me, more beautiful than the front of the car. Just beautiful, you know. Now, once inside the Audi S3, the striking new thing that comes across is what Audi, I believe, like to call is a driver-centric cabin setting. And what that means is this kind of infotainment, the MMI, as Audi would like to, or like to call it rather, and the clusters and the kind of the whole positioning of the cabin is rather like a cocoon, like those other Germans used to do back in the late 90s. So what it does is, it's kind of like the whole cabin is tilted towards the driver, making it very much your own cocoon, your own cabin here, where you feel much more in control, and that has actually worked really rather well. Now, let's start with the steering wheel. Steering wheel is beautiful, the classic kind of Audi Sport steering wheel with the round at the top and the flat bit at the bottom with your, you know, regular controls on the left and the right. You have the flappy paddles right behind. The smaller paddles actually work quite well. I do prefer the larger paddles, but I have used this, you know, for the last couple of days, and they work just fine. Cruise control here, indicators, you know, wipers, that kind of thing. That's pretty standard. The stitching is rather nice and beautiful. I quite like that. These vents, as you can see from here, are brand new, and again, that's all part of the driver-centric cocoon-like cabin design. Again, they're kind of looking at you, they're kind of hugging you, along with these beautiful seats as well that are again kind of you know, stitched in beautiful red as well. Let's talk a little bit about the MMI system. Now, I rather like Audi's system. This is, of course, the latest version. As far as I know, very quick, very intuitive. You control everything that you would ever want to control in your car. This particular model does not have cool seats, which is a bit of a downer, but then again, it is a sports car, and if you're a sporty driver, perhaps you don't need ventilated seats. But going back to the MMI system, rather good, very quick, very easy to use. It is compatible with kind of, you know, your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Both can go on there, but A lot of manufacturers have been doing this, and they do it on purpose, that they don't want to rely purely on Apple or Android, so they develop their own systems, much like Mercedes MBUX and the BMW iDrive and so on and so forth. So Audi, of course, do the same with their MMI. Again, very quick, very easy to use, impressive for a car system, almost as quick as your phone. All in all, great cabin. This Quattro sign here, kind of, you know, from the years gone by, looks absolutely beautiful. Apart from that, the cabin for a small sedan, because it is a small sedan after all, is extremely well appointed. Very nice, very comfortable. The back seats not so much, but the front seats are very comfortable. Seats kind of hug you. Beautiful, beautiful car. No complaints here. Let's take it for a drive, because that is the more important part, rather. Now, taking the beautiful S3 for a little drive, and I've been looking forward to this since I got it, because this car really is able. Now, what you can do is right here in the middle, you have a button called Drive Select. You can see from here, and when you just press that, when you put Drive Select, you can literally choose efficiency, comfort, automatic, dynamic, or individual. Naturally, I'll be choosing dynamic. And once you choose dynamic, the car kind of stiffens up and becomes a real S, you know, a real Audi sport car. And you can immediately feel the exhaust, the snap, crackle, and pop, as I like to call it, right behind me. Now, once we get through here, I will demonstrate how this car can perform. And for that, you can pull this back, it'll go to S. And then what you do is 3, 2, 1. Look at that acceleration. Wow. And again, put it to manual. The downshifts are on point. You hear that in the back? You see, you lift off. Wow. That is so on point. It is extremely responsive. Very, very tight. That Quattro couldn't be any better. You see, you give it some, and the acceleration is just rapid and very, very nice. Well, the car doesn't have launch control as far as I know, but we can still do a 0 to 100. 3, 2, 1, off we go. It takes a little while, but then you're right at 100. I mean, what takes a little while is not getting to 100. You get to 100 in 4.9 seconds. That's, you know, confirmed, possibly even less than 4.9 seconds. It's just like the initial takeoff, because it is a, you know, because it doesn't have launch control, as far as I know. Please don't quote me for it. I should find that out. And if it does have launch control, I will write it in the video properly. But it doesn't. But you know, from moving start, so let's say I'm going about 20 kilometers here. Once you give that kick down, wow, the acceleration is just phenomenally quick. Look at that car go. And then if you want to brake with the manual brake, the manual gearbox, it is absolutely spot on how it just, you know, right there. And then go.